Okay, Unit 9 test review. Express each value of the indicated unit. The table that you need on each page is right there. So you have to convert 25 millimeters to centimeters. So 25 mm over 1 mm cm. Okay, so 10 mm equals 1 cm. 25 times 1 is 25, 1 times 10 is 10, divided is 2.5 cm. Okay, 36,000 centimeters is meters. Okay, so cm, okay. 100 centimeters, 1 meter. 100 with centimeters, 1 with meters. 36,000 times 1 is 36,000. 1 times 100 is 100. You divide it, it's 360 meters. Okay, now you got to watch here. You can't add unless they're the same. So you 7.2 kilometers plus 13.42 meters as meters. Well, the one that's not in meters needs to be converted. Okay, so 7.2 km over 1. Bring your km and you want it in m. Okay, so 0.001 kilometers is 1 meter. 7.2 times 1 is 7.2. Wait a second, yep. 1 times 0.001 is 0.001. And 7.2 divided by 0.001 is 7,200. Okay. So you cross that out, 7,200 meters. Now they can be added. It'd be 7,213.42 meters. Okay, 3,000 millimeters minus 0.7 meters equals question mark meters. So you're doing the same thing. You're taking that out and converting it. So 3,000, wherever you have room. mm over 1. We want to get out of millimeters into meters. So there's 1,000 millimeters to 1 meter. 3,000 times 1 is 3,000. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000, and that's 3. So 3m. Now you can subtract. 3 meters minus 0.7 meters is 2.3 meters. Okay. Now you're on a different table because now they're squared. It just takes these amounts to the second power. These are area. Express each metric area measure in the indicated unit listed. So 13.7 square centimeters over, remember you got to look at this one. So you want it into square millimeters. Okay. By the way, I screwed this up right here. That should say square. Okay. Just put seconds. So 100 square millimeters is 1 square centimeter. Okay, so you cross those out. 13.7 times 100 is 1,370 over 1. So it's going to be 1,370 mm squared. Okay, 0.7 square meters is square millimeters. So 0.7 square meters over 1. Okay, mm and m. So 1,000,000 square millimeters to 1 square meter. 0.7 times 1,000,000 is 700,000. 1 times 1 is 1, so of course that would be 700,000 square millimeters. Okay, now you're doing volume. That's cm. There's no such thing as an O. Okay. 3,010 cubic centimeters is cubic decimeters. Okay, DM right there, 1,000 cm to 1 dm. 3,010 times 1 is 3,010. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Then you divide, you get 3.01 cubic decimeters. Okay. 45 cubic centimeters is cubic millimeters. Okay, there's 1,000. By the way, these should be in cubes. Sorry, I forgot that. Put third powers there. Okay. So 1,000 cubic millimeters is 1 cubic centimeter. 45 times 1,000 is 45,000. 1 times 1 is 1. Then divide 45,000. Okay, express each metric capacity in the unit indicated. 2,500 milliliters to liters, so get that set up. L and ml right there, 1,000 mLs, 1 L. 2,500 times 1 is 2,500, 1 times 1,000 is 1,000, divide, you get 2.5 liters. Okay, 4,500 cubic meters is liters, so 4,500 cubic meters over 1. So L and m to the third right there, L, m to the third. So 1,000 liters is 1 cubic meter. So I think we're going to have, wait a second, I do that right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so 4,500 times 1,000. Obviously pretty big answer. Okay, 4,500,000 liters. Okay. Okay, express each metric weight in the unit indicated. So there's your table you'll need. 890 milligrams is grams. Okay, G and mg. Okay, 1,000 mg, 1g. $890, 1,000. So you divide them, it's 0.89. Okay, 3.5 grams is milligrams. So 3.5 grams over 1. Remember, grams means G. So grams, milligrams. So look up mg and g. Same thing, I guess. Okay. So 1,000 mg, 1g. 3.5 times 1,000 is 3,500. Okay, compound measurement. Express each complex compound unit measures indicated. I don't care about the significant digits. Okay. So 25 meters per second, that means 1 second. So you put that as 25.2 m over 1 second. Now 1 gets a label. Okay. Now, draw an arrow from the m to the km. So you got to go m to km. Obviously, we have to do that. Okay. Then seconds have to go to minutes. Seconds, minutes. So you need 2 of them. Okay. So let's talk about the m and the km. Where's the m at? It's on top, so it goes bottom. And then km, what I'm trying to convert to, goes on the other side. Seconds, where's seconds at? Top or bottom? They're on bottom, so the seconds go on top. And what we're trying to convert to, minutes, goes on the other side. Km and m, okay? So 0.001 km is 1 m. 0.001 with km, 1 with m. 60 seconds, 1 minute. Okay, the m's bye-bye, the seconds bye-bye, and now we're good. So the top 25.2 times 0.001 times 60 is 1.512 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So divide those, it's 1.512 km on top, minute on bottom. Okay, now remember what I told you about the prefix. Express each of the following values as the indicated unit value. 8.2 times 10 to the 9th bits as gigabits, okay? So put 8.2 times 10 to the power of 9 over 1, okay? Excuse me. With its label bits, okay? Sorry, I didn't put that. And then bits, and we want it in gigabits. Now look up giga. 10 to the 9th. 10 to the 9th goes with the word without the prefix, okay? Goes with word without the prefix. So the word without the prefix is bits. So 10 to the 9th here, 1 here. Bits cancel. You can just put, this times 1 is just 8.2 times 10 to the 9th, okay? 1 times 10 to the 9th is 10 to the 9th. Now a funny thing happens here. 9 minus 9 is 0. So when you get 0, it's just 8.2. Okay, so I guess it just would really, that's what you'd have. Gigabits. Okay, next one. 4.4 times 10 to the 6 microamperes is amperes. So 4.4 times 10 to the 6 over 1. You need to label it microamperes. So on the bottom, you're going to put microamperes. And then the top, what you're trying to convert to is just the amperes. Now remember what I told you, look up micro, it's right there. That goes with the number, not with the prefix. It just doesn't always go on top, bottom. The word without the prefix, which is here this time. Then 1. Now you're like, okay, how do you multiply now, Hermson? Well, you keep your 4.4 the same. You write times 10, and then you add 6 and negative 6. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so you really are just adding the powers on the 10. That's 0. So if you get 0, you can just take it out. Okay, then you're just going to have 4.4. Okay. Story problems. Number 16 is an easy problem. We're just going to use proportions to solve it. This table is for down here. A car travels from town A to town C by the way of town B. The car travels 250 kilometers. The trip takes 5 hours. It takes 1.4 hours to get from town A to town B. Assuming the same speed is maintained for the entire trip, how many kilometers apart are town A and town B? Okay, so we know that the car can go 250 kilometers on its total trip, and that total trip takes 5 hours. Okay? Proportions is this. It's just cross multiply and divide. You put the units the same. Okay? Now, 1.4 of the hours go from town A to town B. So to find the kilometers, you can just cross multiply and divide that. 70 kilometers for that town A to town B. So again, think of this ratio as your total, and this as a ratio of A to B. Okay. Okay, number 17. Determine the total length in meters of the wall section shown in the figure. Okay, some of these are in decimeters, some of them are in centimeters. Everything's got to be converted to meters so we can add them. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple things. Let's add our DM. So I'm going to put DM to M here. This part I'm going to take my centimeters to meters, and in this part I'm going to add my meters. Okay, so let's circle our DM. So you got 10.7, 3.86, 9.5, 3.86. So we add those amounts. Okay, 10.7 plus 3.86 plus 9.5 plus 3.86. Okay, so you have 27.92 decimeters. But we want to convert them to meters, so we put DM and M. Now let's go look up here. 10 decimeters is 1 meter. 10 with decimeters, 1 with meters. So you're going to have 27.92 on top, 10 on bottom. You divide, it's 2.792 meters. So remember that, okay? Centimeters to meters, okay, all the decimeters have been converted. Now I circle the centimeters. So 12.6 plus 12.6 is going to be 25.2. So we have 25.2 centimeters, put it over 1. Now we have to convert it to meters, okay? Okay, so 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So 100 with centimeters, 1 with meters. 25.2 times 1 is 25.2. 1 times 100 is 100. Then we'll divide 24.2 by 100, 0.252. So 0.252 meters. Add the meters, but you have this 4.6 that was already in meters. So then you add the 2.792 and then you add the 0.252. Okay, 7.644 meters. Okay, I guess it goes to 20 then. 20 is kind of an easy problem. The liquid intake of a hospital patient during a specific period of time as follows. All these are in milliliters, all of them are. What's the total liter intake of liquid for the entire time period? So you add up your milliliters, and that would be pretty much all of them. You have to add up your millimeters and then convert them to liters. Okay. 450 plus 120 plus 140 plus 165 plus 175 plus 225 plus 160. Okay. 1,435 milliliters, but now we have to make the conversion to liters. ML. So there's 1,000 milliliters to 1 liter. This times 1 is 1,435. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Then you divide, you get 1.435. Okay. Okay, last page. Number 18 is almost exactly like number 17. This is your table. An assembly consists of 5 plates, metal plates. The respective areas of the plates are 660 square centimeters, 410 square centimeters, 13.5 square decimeters, 11.7 square decimeters, and 0.5 square meters. Determine the total surface measure in square meters of the 5 plates. Remember, the answer has to be in square meters. So, add the centimeters, convert them to square centimeters, to square meters. So I'm going to put cm squared, meters squared right there. And then add the square decimeters, convert those to square meters. And then you're going to add. Okay, so where are my square centimeters? So you got 660, 410, and that's it. So 660 plus 410 is 1,070. So we have 1,070 square centimeters over 1. Now convert it. It's no longer 100 to 1 though, okay? It's 10,000 square centimeters in 1 square meter. So 1,070 times 1 is 1,070. 1 times 10,000 is 10,000. And when I divide, .107 square meters. Okay. Now I repeat the same process with my decimeters. 13.5, 11.7. 25.2. Now convert them. It's going to be 100 square decimeters to 1 square meter. So 100, 1. 25.2 times 1 is 25.2. 1 times 100 is 100. Divide those, you get 0.252 square meters. Now you're there, but you got to remember you had this amount here that was already in square meters, so that also has to be added. Okay. And 0.859. Okay, number 19 is probably the hardest one. A roll of fabric has a surface measure of 15 square meters. How many pieces, each requiring 1,200 square centimeters of fabric, can be cut from the roll? Make an allowance for 10% waste. Okay. I'm going to write something. I know it's not on the sheet, but what you're going to be doing is taking your total divided by your piece length. Now remember, your piece length must include the waste. Okay, so we're actually going to find the piece length first. Okay, so find 10% of 1,200 square centimeters and add that amount to the 1,200 square centimeters. Okay, so you're going to find 10% of 1,200. Okay, you can just move the decimal twice and take 0.10 times 1,200. Okay, so 120. Now you need to add that to your piece length. So after you find what 10% of 1,200 is, that 120 needs to be added to your piece length. Just put it right there. See how I'm doing that? You just take that, add it on. So that's going to be 1,320. So the piece length, we know this, okay? We now know the piece length. It's 1,320 square centimeters. Now the total amount is 15 square meters. Well, that doesn't work out, okay? And the reason it doesn't, because you got square meters and square centimeters. So why don't you want to convert your total amount. So convert the 15 square meters to square centimeters. So 15 square meters over 1. So what do we got for square centimeters? cm squared and m squared right there. 10,000 square centimeters, 1 square meter. 15 times 10,000 is going to be 150,000. Okay. Double check that. Yep, I'm right. So we now know that this is 150,000 square meters divided by 1,320, or square centimeters. And now you just divide to find how many pieces, okay? Put one too easy. No, I didn't. Okay. So that would be 113, okay? So let's let's review that. You're taking your total amount, which you have, 15 square meters, divided by your piece length. But to find the piece length, you have to include the waste. You find 10% of the piece length and then add it onto your piece length. So piece length is 1,320 square centimeters. Then you have to make the conversion. I would convert the starting amount, okay? Could you convert that one? Yes, but I usually just convert the starting amount, so I can now divide, answer.